Hi everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home, and as you saw in the photos, I'm going to try and show you how to do the flip flap shutter card. So there are a lot of moving parts to this. I know it's a really old style of card, but I thought I'd show you how to do it on canvas so that it's easier to cut out. You haven't got to do all the measuring and whatever. So let me just first show you how this is all going to go together. So this would be the back of the card, and what you're going to do is add all these on, and these would fold over. These are tabs here, and they will fold over so that the next one, this bit backs up to this one, and then this one again would butt up to that one, and then this frame here, it would go over the top like that, so that these three come through. Okay, this is very crude. There you go. So that these three come through the shutter, and then these are the parts that cover the joins where the mechanism goes, and then these are the layers you want. So you want 3 for the front and 3 for the back. You do different designs, or you can do it all the same design, but I've done different colors just so that you could see all the equal moving parts. So, oh, and this is so that we can do a hole to put the pull tag in. So that's what that's for. Okay, I think that's everything, so I'm just going to get it all together and get it out of the way. A lot of it is simpler than it looks. So we are going to start with a rectangle. We will untick maintain aspect ratio, and we want it 8 by 5.5. Which is 5.25 if you didn't know. Now this is going to be the base of the card, but also the frame. It has to be the same size as the base of the card. So if we duplicate, so there's our base of the card, and now we're going to work on the frame, and I'm going to duplicate again, and then what we want is for the frame to be 1 inch wide. So this is the outside, this box here, and we need to do this one so that there's 1 inch taken off each side, which means in theory 2 inches, 1 for each side. So that would make it 6 by 3.25. And then centrally and through the middle, you would make sure that they're both aligned like that, and then subtract. And there's your frame. But then just before we finish, because you want a nice little topper going on top, I've done the offset here. You want inward at 16, because I think you want quite a solid gap in between. So I've done it at 16. If you like it less, you can do less. So that gives us that. Exactly the same as what's on here. We can do the pull now if you want. So what I've done for that, I'm going to need a circle, and then just a small rectangle. So for the circle, we want it at, tick again on the aspect ratio, and we want that at about 3/4, so that's 0.75. It might be a bit, no, I think it's about right. And then we are going to duplicate, because we need to go through 2 layers. Right, let's just move in closer so you can see what I'm doing. So we want these together. Let's just make sure they're exactly together. Grab them both and align them both through the center and through the middle. And then we are going to hold shift and grab them 2 as well, and we want them all going through the middle, so we know that's centrally aligned. And then what we need to do, if we grab them, we need to make sure that this center bit here, this center pip, whatever you want to call it, is on the outside line, because then we know that it's half the circle. Okay, and then what you need to do is one by one. So you grab one, hold the outer frame and subtract. And then grab the other one, hold the inner frame, the other frame, whichever way round you do it, just so that you know they're both taken out at exactly the same spot. So when you glue in, you know you can put it in the right place. Now the little rectangle I got, that's going to be the actual pull tab. You obviously don't need it that big. You need it just so that it will fit. And then I am going to hold all of it and again do it through the middle, just so I know it's in the right place. And then that will be the tab that comes, that has the word pull on it, that people will pull on. It's going to be stuck down, but people will pull on to know they've got to pull it up. Now you can write the word pull from there, or I've got a stamp set from Made to Surprise that has all them little words on it, so I'm going to use that because it's a bit easier. So it will have the word pull there so that people know to pull. So that's your frame done. Display, zoom to match size. Okay, so that's them bits done. I'm just going to group it so I know that it's out of the way. There's the coloured version for you there so you can see. There's the little white bit that you come out. That is your card piece you don't need. So now we need to do the mechanism, and that is, we'll do one and then you just copy the others. So again, untick maintain aspect ratio, and you want this one 5.5 by 3. And we are going to go up on the X and Y so we make sure we get everything in the right place. Let's just get a bit closer. So watch the X and Y's over here and make sure you've got it all where you want it to be. So they say 0, 0. Okay, so before we do anything, we need another little rectangle that's a little bit smaller. We want it at 3.5 width. And then what we're going to do is make sure it's through the center. And then we need to bring it down so that the Y is on 2 inches. That way we know it's in the right place. And because I moved it down with my mouse, I'm just going to make sure that we are centrally aligned again. And then we are going to subtract so that we have that space. Now you need a square, and we want this, tick maintain aspect ratio, 1 inch, 1 inch square. Before we carry on, we are just going to go over to, no, it's this line, and we are going to open the line up, and then tick off it and change it to a score line. And we want that to go on the 1 inch line and the 0. So X has got to be 0 and the Y has got to be 1 inch. And then we are going to layer, duplicate and flip. And this one has to be on the 4.5 and 1 inch. 4.5 and 1 inch. That way we both know they're in the right place again. And then the last thing we need is just 2. Actually, I'm not going to use the path tool. I am just, because I want tiny little slits. I'm going to use this one because I need this one a straight line and this one to have a tiny little slit. So if I turn it round at 270 degrees, I still want a tiny slit, and we'll make that a bit smaller. And what we do is put it so that it's along the inch line. Now you can't do it with the X and Y here because it all starts and stops in the wrong place. So if we duplicate and flip, we need the same on the other side. So I don't know if you can see on my screen, but the grid lines is what you need to look at. If we go a bit closer, you might see a bit more. I think you can't see it because I actually managed to get it right on the grid line, yeah. So you want it on the grid line and stop in on the score line. Let's go over to the other one. So this one, you can't do it on the grid line. Okay, what I'm going to do, you want to make sure this line is on the score line. And then what I'm going to do, when it gets difficult like this, if you get another shape just to use to make sure you're in the right shape. Shape didn't come out. There we go. I'm going to go back over. So if you get another shape and put it where you need it to be, so we know that the X has to be 450, which it exactly is. So actually I guesstimated right, but that's how you check. If you just get another shape and put it where you need it to be, so it's on the 450, and then you can place this where that line is, you know you're in the right place. And you can also check it's in the right place. So you know this is 450. If you grab this and use the alignment that says to the left, it's the first alignment, then you know it's in exactly the right place. And you can delete the shape you just used. Okay, so let's go display zoom to matte size. We'll come out now. And now what we want to do is get just the shapes. So the main shape and the two triangles, and subtract. And there we go. We've got our little cuts that we need. So that is the main mechanism, and you want 3 of them. You need to cut 3 of them out. I'm just going to group it, so then I can put it to the side. What else do I need to show you? Okay, I've already worked this one out. So you need 4 pieces of patterned paper to hide all the bits of the mechanism that you don't want anyone to see. So you need 4 pieces. You need one piece that is 0.9 by 5.4. So it's just, I'm just skimming a little bit off each. Oh, I haven't undone, sorry. So that one's got to be 0.9. I'm just skimming a little bit off each, so that, if I show you actually, so you can see what I'm doing. When they're lined up on the card base, like this, that's not the card base, is it? Yes. That's meant to be 5.5 as well. I don't know why it isn't. Okay. When they're lined up on here, let's just get 3 of them. It's hard to see on here without it all looking really messy. So like I said, these will be folded back because you'll be putting the frame onto them. So then they will go there, which means you are going to see the way they all slot together. So then these pieces of paper, I'm just going to do them a light blue for instance, will go over them, but you need them just a little bit under so they don't go over where you've been. You can do them the exact size if you want. So these tabs are 1 inch and this is obviously 5.5. If you want to do that and then trim afterwards, all I've done is taken a little bit off. Now if I duplicate that, the next one, they're all the same height, but the next one, the width is almost the same, but it's 1.9, because that is going to cover up this bit here and this bit here, like this. No, like this. Them 2 bits there. And then you want another one the same, like that. And then one more that is 2.9, and that will go on the end like that. And this bit you're going to see more than the others. So if you are using a pattern paper, then you want the sort of best bit, if you like, to be this bit, because that will be seen more. So you need them. So that's 1 of them, 2 of them, and 1 that size. And then all you need are the frames, which are very simple rectangles, not frames, toppers, excuse me. Let's just move them. I'll just get 1 of them. So the width is 1.9 and the height, so it fits nicely just inside there. And you want 3 for the front and 3 for the back as you flip it. You can use the same design that you're using on here, or you can go for all different designs. But I think that is everything that you're going to need. I will see you over the craft table. I am going to do a Christmassy one because I think it will look lovely. But obviously the card itself will be suitable for any occasion. So let's go to the craft table. Okay, so you can see that I'm over at the craft table. This is the back of the card. They will go on there in a minute, but first of all I wanted to concentrate on this. Now I've done 2 because this bit needs to be pretty thick, and what I've also done, I know I usually use glue, but I've taped it all so that we've got that extra thick tape, giving it an extra bit layer sort of thing. So we just need to take all that off. I had a bit extra there, I'm just going to fold it over. So it gives an extra thick layer. Now before we stick the top on, we do have, oh, where did I put my little card for that? The pull tab, which I didn't cut out, I forgot to, so I'm just going to add it like this. So this is the pull tab. And all I'm going to do is just add it now, so it's between the layers. It's not one that needs to pull out, so if I add it now, make sure that it butts up right to the edge, and then we'll just put another extra bit of tape over that so that it's all stuck together. You should also, it's easier to get red tape off if you burnish it down first. I did do that before I came on air. Okay, so then now we can stick it together. The pull tab is hidden away completely. Just be careful because red tape is not something that will come back up afterwards. Okay, so see where I've got a little bit of tape there? I'm just going to powder it so it doesn't get everything else sticky. and then we will use this as the front because we still need to put the paw. And I can't do it, I can do it now, but I couldn't do it until it was down because I didn't know exactly where it needed to be put. So I am using this. I don't know if any of you have seen it. So it's a Made to Surprise brand, and it's just all the little things you need, including arrows and twists and everything for any kinetic cards that you're doing. So I'm just going to use the lid of one of my inks. It's laziness really. So all I'm going to do now is put it down, and there we go. Now I've got my paw. Okay, so now it's just sticking together. So what we need to do is just put this on, and you just need to make sure that the circles line up because they're cut exactly. So now I'm going back to my glue. Now at least I've got glue, I can move it around a little bit if I need to. So I'm going to make sure that that is lined up exactly to the circle, and then make sure that this lot's all straight. There we go. So then what we need to do, we need the base of the card, and these are all going to be stuck on. So now I can explain it a bit better, you can see. So we stick this first tab on, bend these ones back, and then the next one goes in like that. Bend these ones back, and then the next one goes in like that. That is how it works. So that's what we need to do, and then this will go on top, and the ones that we've bent back are going to stick to the frame. I can't show you exactly, it's very hard to show you, but kind of like that. And then the 3 slots will come up through the base like that. But it's easier to show you once it's all stuck together. So that's what I'm going to do now. I am just going to stick the squares. Okay, so they're all stuck down now like that. But before we put the top on, we've got the backing pieces, the 4 backing pieces that are like this. And all we're going to do is hide the mechanisms so that they can't be seen. So it goes this one, try and do it as far to the end as you can, and then the next one goes like this. So lift that up, okay, so now we've got all the mechanisms hidden. You want to fold all these back and put glue on every one, and then you're going to put this straight over. So you want to make sure they're all behaving themselves, because you need to get this exactly over the bottom, so it's the same. That's why I use glue, because you've got a little bit of wiggle room to fit it all in. We'll just make sure they're out. Okay. Now on my practice one, this went perfectly, but for some reason it's a little bit tight this time. So let me just trim it down a little bit. I mean, all it takes is a tiny little bit of trimming, because it is literally the tiniest bit. Just typical that it plays up when I do the actual video. So then you've got that. You need to work it back and forth a bit just to get it going. Now you've got your mats and then your toppers. So the mats for the front, it's the same picture as what was in the frame. Just have to make sure I get this right. So it's like that. Let's stick them all down. I've got the other three for the back. Thinking about it now, I chose the wrong design for the back, but I'll just leave it like it is for now. So there's your card. That's the basics of the card. And then you just get your toppers. I've gone for cute, which is why I think the trees maybe were a bit wrong. So I've used Adventures in Ink stamps that I got last year, and there's polar bears, and I mean there was loads. I've got the pigs and the polar bears, and I think there was tigers and the penguins. That's what I've used. So the penguins I was going to put on the front. Okay, so that's the basics of it. That's the front, and then that's the back. You could write your message there or do it on the back. I would do it on the back personally. I'd also probably add some snowflakes or something around there. But that is your flip flap card. Oh yeah, I was going to show you my other one. So this one's a bit... I needed to do a birthday card, so I chose to do it with this. And it's a stitch one. But this one worked perfectly. There we go. It's going to work for anything and anyone, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives you some ideas, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.